It feels like President Trump is fighting battles on all sides right now. His power is being challenged from inside the US on two very different, but, weirdly parallel fronts. And from what we're hearing, he is very, very concerned.
Okay, just let that sink in for a second. This single sentence from a top US lawmaker, it really captures the entire storm that's gathering around the White House. It's not just a jab about a policy, it's a direct challenge to how the president sees his own power.
And that, right there, is the heart of the matter. We're looking at two totally separate crises. One is economic, the other is military. But they both boil down to the exact same question. Has the president overstepped his authority? It's a question being asked in courtrooms, in the halls of Congress, and it's putting the very limits of presidential power to the test.
All right, so let's tackle the first front, the economic one, the trade war. For a long time, tariffs have been Trump's signature policy, but now that entire policy has just slammed into a massive legal brick wall. Wow, just look at that number, $175 billion. Now, that amount alone isn't going to break the U.S. economy, but the message it sends, it's huge. This isn't just about the money, it's a really powerful legal and public slapdown. So what happened? Well, a federal court basically said, nope, those tariffs were illegal. And they've ordered that every single dollar collected has to be paid back. You can imagine, this is a major public humiliation for an administration that fought this hard in court. And here's the really critical part. This wasn't just a simple disagreement over whether the policy was good or bad. The courts, and even some in Congress, were arguing that the president never had the legal right to do this at all. And believe it or not, that exact same argument is now exploding on a whole other front. At the exact same time this tariff battle is playing out in the courts, that same fundamental question of authority is being fought over a potential war with Iran. So after the president authorized military strikes against targets in Iran, lawmakers immediately fired back, basically saying, whoa, wait a minute, who gave you the authority to do that? This is a huge deal, a constitutional power that Congress does not take lightly. So Congress jumps into action, trying to restrain the president. And when the White House gave its reason, saying they had to strike first to prevent an attack, a lot of lawmakers just weren't buying it. And the fact that 6 American service members have now been killed in this conflict, well, that's only turned up the heat. And this chart, it shows you everything you need to know about how divided Washington is on this. The president did manage to keep his authority, but just look at that margin. He won by only a handful of votes. So yeah, it's a victory, but it's a fragile one that shows just how deep the opposition is. Okay, so how do these two completely different things, tariffs and Iran, how do they connect? I mean, on the surface, they seem worlds apart, right? Like east and west, as the source puts it. But they're actually two sides of the very same coin. The source we're looking at uses this great analogy. Think of them as parallel railway tracks. They're two totally different journeys, but they're running on the same line, and they're heading to the same destination, a direct challenge to the president's power. In both cases, the message from the courts and Congress is identical. You went too far. So with all of this going on, you'd think the biggest danger is a court battle or some foreign power, right? Well, the source argues the real threat, it's much, much closer to home. Because the real fallout from all this isn't about fines or votes in Congress. No, it's about a political time bomb ticking down to one single day on the calendar. Think about it. All these legal fights, all these clashes with Congress, they're all funneling towards one thing, the November midterm elections. And those elections could completely redraw the political map in Washington and really decide the entire fate of this presidency. Here's the nightmare scenario for the White House that the source lays out. Step 1, the president's party loses control of the House of Representatives. Step 2, the opposition party takes over every single committee, giving them the power to investigate everything. And then, boom. Step 3, there won't be a single week, maybe not even a single day, without a new push for impeachment. You see, this is why that election is so much more than just a political race. For this White House, it's a potential trap. A loss in November could mean the last 2 years of the term are spent just fighting for political survival, day in and day out. So in the end, this whole two-front war is about more than just one president or one election. It's about that fundamental, constant tension in American democracy. The struggle between the power of the person in the Oval Office and the power of the institutions designed to keep them in check. And how that plays out, well, that story is still being written.